one of our student ambassadors, Jennifer Aguirre, agreed to conduct an informational interview for me, and it was with AJ Harris, Vice President of Accounting Finance Controller for the Los Angeles Lakers. And so I was very much appreciative of Jennifer agreeing to do this, and she was excited about it because she actually has some aspirations of getting into finance after as a part of her career track. So Jennifer, if you want to pop on for a few minutes and just to just share what you learned from your informational interview with AJ, would be much great. And we're definitely big proponents of informational interviews, just talking to folks who are doing what you want to do, who are working where you want to work, and just really getting some insight. So Jennifer, the stage is yours.
Hi, thank you. It was really cool. AJ was super nice and really easy to talk to, which was great. So as you can see on the screen, he's presently VP of Finance and Accounting for the Lakers. And his jobs include financial reporting, treasury management, FP&A, and working on the payroll. And currently he manages a team of 9. So there's a little background on AJ. He went to Claremont McKenna for undergrad and then got his MBA from UCLA while he was working for the Lakers. And the Lakers were super supportive of him pursuing an MBA because getting an MBA is mutually beneficial. It helps AJ, but it also helps the Lakers. Before working for the Lakers, he worked at PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which, if you don't know, is accounting consulting, and he worked in external auditing. Some of his biggest advice included making sure to network as much as you can and getting the proper credentials. So for him, that included taking the CPA exam. If you don't want to get into accounting, not necessary, but definitely make sure you have the credentials before you apply for jobs. And he said it was important that he gained foundational knowledge at PwC before he moved to the Lakers. So even though he didn't go immediately into sports, he really valued that knowledge he got while working in external auditing. He really put an emphasis on the value of organization. And he said that it's okay if that doesn't come naturally to you, even if you're in college, but he learned the importance of this while in external auditing at PwC. He had to learn to juggle multiple projects and accounts, and he was able to bring this over to the private side when he began working for the Lakers. When I asked AJ what he liked most about his role, he mentioned 2 things from the work perspective side and the product standpoint. He said that he appreciates that the CFO trusts him enough to run his department and structure the team how he likes. And he also mentioned that even if you're on the business side, you still get to interact with Laker Nation and meet people, which is really fun because obviously the Lakers are super huge. And he said it's important, as a bunch of panelists said yesterday and today, to get any sort of experience in sports in some capacity. So we were just talking about volunteering, and AJ said that it might be slow for the first few years, but you just need to break in some way or another. So you might not originally be working for a huge team. It could be with the minors or even a college team, but your resume is way more impactful with any sort of sports experience. And when he was first hired by the Lakers, he was doing auditing for the team for 4 years, and then he moved up and became a supervisor. So now he has a much larger say in how his team runs. And what I found interesting about his experience is that the Lakers is actually a much smaller organization than I had anticipated. And this is primarily because AEG owns Staples Center. So the Lakers are actually renters, so they don't need to worry about all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So the size of the organization for AJ, he said, is a double-edged sword, because with a smaller company, sometimes it's more of a slower moving process, and it might be hard to get an immediate buy-in to do exactly what you want. But once you move up, you have a lot more say and freedom and independence. So he's able to learn something new every day and gets to specialize in additional ways. And he has to report to the league, report to the team, and do all of these things that he might not be able to do personally if it was a larger organization. So overall, some key takeaways: get any sort of experience you can in sports in some capacity to just make your resume stand out a little bit more, and to just keep working hard and make sure you have the proper credentials.